Uh-oh.
Okay, we'll start with this. Naoya Inoue versus Sam Goodman is now being finalized for Inoue's undisputed Super Bantamweight World titles on Christmas Eve, December 24th, Tokyo, Japan. Bob Arum has confirmed. Arum added that they're planning for Inoue to have a major fight in April in Las Vegas.
Why do I not believe him?
Because last year he said the same thing. Last year he said that Inoue would fight in America. I was not confident.
Why?
Because there's nobody over here that draws anything, so why would you leave your adoring public that pays so much money to see you whenever you fight to come to America?
Why?
As many times as this talking point is raised, it never makes sense. Though Bob Arum mentioned it, that there seems to be some sort of a plan to bring Inoue to America in April. So who would he be fighting in April? Maybe Angelo Leo?
Newly crowned IBF featherweight champion?
Will Inoue be moving up to the featherweight division in April? Understand that Bob Arum and Top Ranked act as Inoue's liaison to the West, to the American market, as they have the American rights to his fights. But they're not the ones at the helm of the promotion. That's Mr. Ohashi. So any major decisions about Inoue's career, who he's gonna fight, where he's gonna go, when is he gonna do it, it falls on Ohashi more than it falls on Bob Arum. And I'm not sure, just hearing it from Bob,
that it's gospel.
Maybe he wants Inoue to fight in America in April. Maybe he sees a window of opportunity in April to do a fight for him, but that doesn't make it a lock. That doesn't make it a guarantee. Because like I said, last year he said the same thing. Last year he said they would bring Inoue to America this year. But so far, all of Inoue's fights have been in Japan.
This year?
So they look to be settling affairs with Sam Goodman. There was a story a few days ago that the fight would be headed to a purse bid. I was confident that Inoue's people would put up whatever they have to put up to avoid that purse bid. If that means giving Sam a little bit more money, give him a little bit more money.
This will be his third fight of this year?
Sam Goodman, unbeaten guy. Generous physical dimensions for a 122-pounder. On the more generous side.
In Aussie.
Became the mandatory challenger by beating America's own Reese Alim a few fights back.
And the Americans wonder why Inoue doesn't come here. America can't seem to produce a world-class super bantamweight.
Can't, when the best you have to offer is either Reese Alim or Stephen Fulton, whose ass he already kicked.
Reese Alim, who got his ass kicked by Sam Goodman.
So here we are. I think Sam was playing hardball to get it a few more dollars because he knows that Inoue's people want to save the date. They want to keep that schedule. So that gave him a little bit of leverage, him being the mandatory challenger, to haggle for a bit more money, and he got it.
I think he got it.
Now he's going to get his ass kicked. Now Inoue's going to cap off the year by knocking him out.
All right.
The prospect of Inoue going up to featherweight next year, when a Junto Nakatani fight is comparatively a bigger fight, and that wouldn't require him to go anywhere. He could stay right there, wait for him to move up.
Well, who says he's moving up next year?
If Bob Arum is courting the idea of bringing Inoue to America in April, it's likely for somebody on his side of things. On his side, he's got Rafael Espinoza, he's got Angelo Leo.
And those are all featherweights.
That's where it comes from. I would rather see Inoue start off next year satisfying his other mandatory challenger, Mutajan Akhmadaliev, that if you beat Sam,
MJ is next.
I stand by what I've been saying. There's nobody at featherweight worth so much money that Inoue needs to be in a rush to get up there?
Nobody.
You got fighters like Gervonta Davis that have been sitting in the same division for something like 4 or 5 years that were all of a sudden rushing Inoue to move up again?
Come on.
They like to play by a different set of rules in America when it comes to foreign fighters and the standard that they hold them to. And I'm against it. Though I have seen Inoue push back against those standards, asserting that Japan is the premier market for his division, his divisions, and if guys want to fight him, that's where they need to go.
I'm hoping that he holds to that.
You don't accomplish as much as Inoue has accomplished to let a bunch of assholes in a different country try to tell you what to do.
Big upset tonight. Tim Tszyu got stopped tonight. He messed up the bag, champ.
It wasn't no
He messed
upset.
up the bag.
He fought the champion. It wasn't no upset. What
And you know he was the favorite, though.
I know he was the favorite, but it wasn't no upset for real. He fought the champion, and who has Tim Tszyu fought? Let's be real. Who has Tim Tszyu beat? Who has Tim Tszyu fought?
He fought some good fighters, though. He fought some good fighters. Tony Harrison, one of them. Campos was
Tony
another.
was over the edge.
So here you have a guy whose claim to fame is being knocked out just a few seconds into the first round of the Charlo fight years ago.
And years later, what has he done?
Got beat like a drum by Sebastian Fundora, got his face all rearranged. It seems to have healed.
Got a gift over Jesus Ramos in a fight that he should have lost.
Are you now understanding why I don't romanticize the sport of boxing and the boxers themselves? That a lot of these guys are really just low character people?
Garbage.
If it seems like Erickson Lubin is a bit quick to get a kick in on Tim Tszyu now that he's lost, that he got knocked out by Bakram Murtazaliev, it's because he's been avoiding that fight for a while now. He's been avoiding it for a year before it became about Sebastian Fundora. And before it became about Keith Thurman, it was about Erickson Lubin, and they couldn't get it done. By my count, there have been at least 3 attempts to get Erickson Lubin in the ring with Tim Tszyu, and it never materialized. It never happened. So that when Tim loses, this guy can crawl from under his rock, from under his hole, and start cracking wise. He couldn't say much. He couldn't say too much about Sebastian beating Tim because Sebastian beat him.
Beat the hell out of him. Stopped him.
So he wasn't piping up then. But he's piping up now that Bakram Murtazaliev beat him. As if he beat Bakram Murtazaliev. Bakram would do to Erickson what he just did to Tim. Because Erickson ain't no good.
He should.
He's got the nerve to ask, who has Tim Tszyu really fought?
Who have you fought?
I love how sensitive American fighters are. I remember I was having a conversation about the junior middleweight division. This was over a year ago. And I talked about how Jermell stopped Erickson in about 34, 36 seconds.
This was on Twitter.
I was talking to a guy about that fight, talking about what happened. And you know who ends up in the conversation? Erickson Lubin himself. And he was upset at the mere mention of his knockout loss to Jermell.
This is a true story.
This conversation transpired. We weren't on Erickson Lubin's social media, you understand. We weren't on his page.
How he knew we were talking about it?
This guy must have put his own name in the search bar to see who's talking about him, and it must have came up. That's the only way I can reconcile it, because nobody tagged him and nobody was necessarily talking to him so much as talking about that fight.
This is a true story.
So he gets mad, starts talking shit, says that we don't know shit about boxing, and I responded by saying, well, I knew that Jermell was going to beat you, and I knew that Sebastian was going to beat you, at which point he blocked me.
This is a true story.
I think Erickson Lubin is a piece of shit.
Trash.
Garbage. I think it takes a real garbage human being to avoid a fight with Tim Tszyu. Not once, not twice, but thrice. So that as soon as somebody else does the job that you were intended to do, oh, now you want to pipe up, now you want to poke out your chest, now you want to talk shit?
Coward.
He's a coward. He's spent the better portion of the last 12 months avoiding that fight. So of course he's going to relish the opportunity to get a kick in.
He's a coward. He can't help himself.
A testament to what passes for a boxer in today's American boxing scene, a piece of shit like Erickson Lubin. And so he is now claiming that had Tim Tszyu won this past Saturday, there was an agreement in place for Erickson to travel to Australia at the end of this year to fight Tim. Had Tim won, but since he lost, those plans have changed, and he's got to find something else to do.
Do you think he would have did it?
No.
Do you think he would have went to Australia?
No, I think he's a coward. I think the only reason he's saying this stuff is because now he knows he's not on the hook. fight's not gonna happen. He doesn't have to go to Australia. He doesn't gotta do nothing. He's just an opportunistic coward, like a lot of opportunistic cowards in the American boxing scene.
Coward!
You ain't never gonna be anything, Erickson Lubin. You're never gonna be nothing special. Nobody is gonna remember a piece of shit like you. You're not even a supporting actor. You're not even a background character, a background dancer. You're nothing.
Nobody.
And boxing would be better off without pieces of shit like you. This guy retires tomorrow. Who do you think is gonna bat an eyelash? Nobody in the media is gonna ask Erickson Lubin, if you think Tim Tszyu's nothing and he ain't fought nobody, why didn't you fight him? Why is it every time they tried to make a fight with you, you found a way out?
If he's so bad.
And he ain't fought nobody, why didn't you fight him? I believe that boxing in and of itself is a great microcosm for life itself. And I believe that the boxers that a region produces are a reflection of its people.
So if there's an overabundance of pieces of shit that all hail from the same region,
What does that tell you? Tim Tszyu took the risks that Erickson Lubin would never take. I mean, if Erickson Lubin were doing in America what Tim was doing in Australia, do you think he would have traveled?
no.
Any of these guys piping up, if they were a star in their own neck of the woods, the way that Tim is a star in his own neck of the woods, do you think they'd get their passport out, board a plane, to fight in somebody else's neck of the woods? Not once, not twice, but thrice.
No.
You see that the American boxing scene ain't what it used to be. Metrics are down, and interest in the sport is waning. You can thank fighters like Erickson Lubin.
You guys robbed Jesus Ramos to award this piece of shit?
Because of all the fans he has? Because of all the tickets he sells? What the hell are we doing here? I've been watching boxing for 56 years, and I never heard anybody say, hey, I gotta watch that Lubin fight.
You ain't 56.
That ain't the point. The point is that this nobody.
You'd have been better off saying nothing than saying that.
You'll get what's coming to you. You will.
Because you suck.
No matter what Tim is, no matter what happened to him on Saturday, you ain't shit, and you ain't ever gonna be shit. Finally, in men's cruiserweight news, Ryan Rozicki versus Yamil Peralta rematch set for December 7th as Noel Mikaelian is out due to a legal dispute with Don King.
Peralta, that's the Argentinian that gave Ryan a lot of problems. A mover, a boxer.
Ryan Rozicki will keep his date and hometown headliner. The stakes and opponent have changed, however. The ring is confirmed that Noel Mikaelian has once again withdrawn from an ordered mandatory title defense versus Rozicki. Mikaelian, 27-2 with 12 knockouts, was due to defend his WBC Cruiserweight title versus Rozicki on December 7th at the Centre 200 in Sydney, Nova Scotia, Canada. However, an ongoing legal dispute with estranged Hall of Fame promoter Don King forced the reigning champion off the show. Rozicki will instead face Argentina's Yamil Peralta in a rematch, this time for the WBC interim title. With Noel Mikaelian unavailable to defend his title, Ryan Rozicki will take on Yamil Peralta in Sydney, Canada on December 7th, WBC President Mauricio Suleiman told the ring. This fight is sanctioned for the WBC Interim World Cruiserweight title. It makes for a great championship fight, with Ryan being number 1 and Yamil the number 2 contender. The winner will be recognized as true WBC World Champion. Rozicki won their first fight via a split decision, which took place at this same venue. Many took issue with the May 2022 outcome, as it was believed Peralta deserved the nod. Peralta's team immediately sought a rematch. They even filed a protest with the WBC, whose independent review found grounds to recognize the fight as a no contest. The official result remains a win for Rozicki, as recognized by the Nova Scotia Combat Sport Authority. The night marks the lone decision win on Rozicki's ledger, who scored knockouts in his other 19 wins. However, it was also an affair with which he was never fully satisfied and wanted to revisit. This is the rematch Ryan always wanted. Three Lions Promotions' Daniel Otter, Rozicki's promoter, told the ring. He is so focused and determined to be the best of the best, he will be victorious come December 7th. Noel ain't fighting against Ryan, so Peralta is up next, and Ryan will become champion of the world. We are confident. Peralta has posted 4 wins since the controversial defeat to Rozicki. His most recent was his best to date, a 10-round split decision over longtime contender the Biso Muchunu on March 22nd in Durban,
South Africa.
The feat elevated Peralta high enough in the rankings to be in position to grab the next available title slot. It now comes in a chance to avenge his lone career defeat. As for Rozicki, it's a chance to move on from a fight his team believes will never see the light of day. The Noel Mikaelian issue has become so repetitive, we are all glad to just move on, noted Otter. After several attempts to get Noel in the ring, an 11th hour deal was made before the purse bid a few weeks ago. The reference deal was Three Lions Promotions' latest effort to push forward with a fight that has now suffered 5 postponements.
Jesus Christ.
It was previously due for a purse bid hearing after the fight dates in June and September were cancelled outright. An injury by Mikaelian during training camp was cited as the cause for the June fallout. No reason at all was given for the September 28th cancellation, the perfect metaphor for the state of Don King Promotions in 2024. Otter and representatives for King huddled to come to terms to secure the December 7th date in Rozicki's hometown. Now Noel claims legal woes against the 93-year-old man who is rumored to be battling health issues, Otter said. It's all become very bizarre. Mikaelian has not fought since he won the belt in a third-round knockout over Lunga Makabu. The feat occurred last November 4th in his adopted Miami hometown. It is now highly likely that he is relieved of his title for failure to defend.
Why don't they just strip him straight away and give the belt to Ryan?
Rozicki at least gets to proceed with his career and in familiar surroundings. The main occupants of Center 200 are the Cape Breton Eagles and the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League. Rozicki, 29, is also every bit the venue regular. He has headlined or was prominently featured in all 6 boxing events to appear at the site in the 21st century. His most recent came in a December 2022 first-round knockout of Mario Aguilar, 1 fight after his narrow win over Peralta. 4 more knockout wins have been added on to Rozicki's impressive record as he emerged as the WBC's Cruiserweight mandatory challenger. The several title fight delays have left him out of the ring since a first-round knockout of Durudola last December in Sydney.
Jesus, that means the night of the fight it will have been a year since he fought.
You can blame Noel Mikaelian and his constant delays for that. All told, Rozicki has won 7 in a row since an October 2021 defeat to Oscar Rivas, their fiercely contested battle for the inaugural Bridgerweight title. So here's what it is. Ryan's got a few things working for him. He's the house fighter, the promotion is behind him, and he's the hometown fighter. It's going down in his neck of the woods.
He got maximum consideration before, and I hope that he gets it again, because the division is a lot better when a guy like Ryan has a belt than a Yamil Peralta.
Ryan Rozicki models himself and his style after the late great Jack Dempsey, whereas a Yamil Peralta is more of a mover, more of a boxer, more of a sugarfoot fighter.
Boring.
Boxing needs more Jack Dempseys, not more sugarfoot fighters. So because he's the house fighter and the hometown fighter, and the added advantage that he's seen this guy before, he knows what he struggled with, so in camp, he'll know what to work on, what to improve upon.
It's good.
But I can't help but think that the WBC should have just elevated him straight away. This has sidelined him for most of this year, trying to get Noel Mikaelian in the ring for a fight that they ordered.
Now he's got to jump through another hoop?
That he has to fight Yamil again. That's what it feels like.
Told you Noel didn't want it.
When I saw him campaigning for a Chris Billum-Smith fight on Sky Sports, while he's under orders to fight this guy, I knew he don't want no parts of Ryan.
So here we are.